say your full name and your position with the company, please?
Sure. So I'm Mark Burdett. I'm the president of CSEG, which is Chesapeake Sports and Entertainment Group. And to my right is
Jennifer Fitzmaurice. I'm the Director of Community Affairs with the Chesapeake Sports Entertainment.
I'm Jane Schlegel. You're listening to Talk With on your hometown station, 1430 WNAV. Mr. Burdett, your name is so familiar to so many people.
Well, now I think it's probably Mark Burnett who you're speaking of, and
I had 3 people say, "Is that the guy?"
yeah,
And I said,
I wish
no.
I was the guy. Yeah, 28 years of Survivor and everything in between, not bad. I'd just like to cash one of those checks. Sure.
So, what is your history and background, and what is this incredible vision you have for Anne Arundel County?
Yeah. So first and foremost, I'm from Anne Arundel County. I grew up in Severna Park, Maryland. I played Green Hornets sports, went to Severn, and played lacrosse at the University of Maryland. So I'm a pretty local guy. And I had a career in sports, professional sports. I worked 12 years for the Baltimore Ravens, and then was in the media business prior to and with. And I kind of came home to Annapolis, and this was a really great opportunity to work with Brendan Kelly and folks like Jennifer here on the Bayhawks and the future vision of what could be. And it really is the culmination of a lot of my experience, both in sports and media and advertising and business, kind of coming together as a real opportunity to do something unique and special.
The images are incredible. The videos on your Chesapeake Sports and Entertainment Group website are amazing. The investment would be, I imagine, astronomical. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around that, really, myself.
Yeah.
But you think this would really go in Anne Arundel County in the Crownsville area?
Well, we do, and we're extremely excited about it. Let me back you up about 3 years. Brendan Kelly, the owner of the Bayhawks since 2011, has been working really tirelessly with the government, with Maryland Stadium Authority, in an effort to get a right-size stadium built. And what right-size means is small enough that you can create demand through scarcity and be relevant, okay? And use it for other activities other than just professional lacrosse. So 3 years ago, the governor, Larry Hogan, who was really pretty new in the office, said, "What do you think of Crownsville, and what could you do if it was available?"
Really?
Kind of gave us, almost
Little
a challenge.
bug in your ear, huh?
Kind of a challenge. Said, we've seen some other proposals. Most of them are going to be density development proposals, and we're not in favor of that. What do you think you could do? So Brendan's a big thinker, and I think that's what you're seeing is a big vision and a big idea about how we can really make an impact on fixing a fallowed property, a broken narrative, and do something really significant for Anne Arundel County, the state of Maryland, and really the Mid-Atlantic, because this youth sports industry is exploding. And when I tell you it's exploding, it's a $17 billion industry compared to the NFL, which is a $14 billion industry. And I don't have to tell you how big and powerful the NFL is, right? So we just talked about how you used to be in youth sports and kept score, and it was part of your life. Well, I look to my right, Jennifer's got three beautiful children that are playing sports, and her whole life is wrapped around their sports endeavors and where she takes them for tournaments and what schools
And
they
all
attend.
over the place, a lot of time on the road. I get that.
Too much time on the road because they're taking that economic impact, their
To
credit
other
cards, their
areas.
time, to other areas outside of our jurisdiction.
I get that.
Our home county, our home state, and really even the Mid-Atlantic. So there's an opportunity here to harness that. And when you harness that economic impact and that sustainable and renewable revenue, you can do a lot. You can fix a lot, and you can empower a lot of people. So it is an expensive endeavor. Trust me, it's a very expensive endeavor, but the opportunity to maximize it and to monetize it is there.
And the state would buy into this, and more importantly, the county and the residents in Crownsville off of General's Highway, Sunrise Beach, 97. This, for me, is the real issue.
So the answer is yes, okay? Are there people that are against it? Sure. People are against the time of day in many cases, and some are justifiable.
I think this is a little bit unique because if you have to travel and if you live in Severna Park and come down 97, there are certain hours of the day, sir, I don't have to tell you. You plan your way around those hours because you don't want to be sitting and stuck. Talk about time on the road. That time is your quality of life time. And if you don't have the kids in there to chat it up and hear what's going on with them at school, I mean, you're stuck sitting and all those fumes are going into our air and into our environment. It's a hot mess out there with this.
Yeah, traffic is. And you know, at the end of the day, whether it's Chesapeake Sports Entertainment Group or the Bayhawks or anybody.
You think it's going to be something else?
No, I think the property is in need of help.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
the state
Has been
knows
for
that.
years.
And the county knows that. They don't have a plan or a solution to that.
And they haven't. And so many nonprofits are over there, and they are serving some of the communities.
Yeah.
Would they be replaced? Would you offer them a place by the adjacent property where you're going to have the Say My Name memorial? What would happen to those folks?
Nothing. What we want to do is help them. Okay, we've talked to Gardenzia, we've talked to Pascal, we've been in front of all of them.
We need
Chris-
more. This is a bigger
No
problem,
question.
I think, the
No
opioid
question.
epidemic.
Absolutely. And you just saw how important it was. Steve Shue took the job with the governor.
Absolutely.
So Jennifer works very tirelessly with those folks. The Crystal House, am I saying that right? Yeah.
Chrysalis.
So our point is, our plan does not interrupt or interfere with their footprints or their buildings or their operations in any way.
But they would no longer be in buildings that have asbestos in them.
Hopefully, they would be in new buildings. The government has the opportunity, based on where this project could take them, to reinvest money into those facilities. Those facilities and those patients also need employment when they're done their curriculum. We would be there ready and willing to help them with jobs. I mean, our jobs are going to be labor, they're going to be groundskeeping, there's going to be other things that we're going to need help, and they're literally already residents of the campus.
So you see this as a possible transition into an employment opportunity for someone in recovery, because that's a huge void.
So we met with, it's Catherine, right, who is at the Pascal, and she said one of the biggest challenges they have is after their patients are ready to go out back out into society, transportation is their biggest challenge. How do they get to their jobs? Well, if the job is literally walking distance, then that's a really good thing. Takes away the overhead, takes away the expense, and is an immediate solution. So that's one thing we feel really big about. We feel good about that.
But getting back to the transportation glut that we have with 97 Crownsville Road, talk to me about that, sir.
So our plan has no impact on Crownsville Road or Generals Highway. Our plan specifically talks about
It's all on the other side?
an exit ramp to 97. Now, 97 is a problem unto itself. Okay?
And will Creek continue to be?
Yes. So the plans are for 97 to be expanded to 3 lanes on both sides. At that expansion point, we believe our project actually helps facilitate that expansion and pushes the actual overpass to be built faster than if it was just in a normal plan, because of what's on the back side, which is the development, the opportunity for the youth sports and really the right size stadium and the indoor sports center.
And those needs are immediate from the perspective of many who live and want to raise their families and start a business. And what is it now? Great place. I think he's changed the mantra is great place. Anne Arundel County, the best place. Okay, so if we want to be the best place, what's the timeline that you envision for this? Because I'm looking at this picture and I'm thinking, wow, this is way out there. No?
So it's a 3-year construction project, okay?
For the overpass?
Oh, yeah, for the overpass, for really the remediation of the facility, for the actual construction of the facility. Now, remember, we're not building as much as we're making fields, 24 actual linear fields. So there's not necessarily a lot going up in the air when you talk about a sports complex. There is a 10,000-seat stadium in the plan, which, just to give you perspective, is 10 rows down and 10 rows up if you come in a midway portal. So it's really more of an amphitheater. The sports court basically is 8 basketball courts, 16 volleyball courts converted. And it's about a 2-story building, so it's going to actually go into the ground and then be about a 2-story roof line. So it's not real high density, and it's not necessarily overarching town center type of development.
Why would you say that there's so much pushback from those who live in that area then, sir?
I don't think there's a full understanding. I mean, Jennifer has met many times with the communities, and we've talked to a number of the groups out there. We made a presentation to the Greater Crownsville Community Association back in November, I think it was. And I think it's a combination of just not in my backyard,
Always.
not understanding traffic, and not really taking time to understand the impact and the positive engine that it could be. You want to add to that?
Well, I think that it speaks to the opioid issue as well, that if the children are engaged and are seeing and participating in sports year round, then we're cutting it off at the head and giving them a prevention versus
Well, no place to go. No,
Right.
nothing to do.
Some people might say that's a big leap to say we're going to build sports fields and our opioid epidemic is going to go away. I don't know.
Well, I think maybe it's A to Z, but we have enough sports fields and time available that we intend to actually help create new rec leagues. Now, what we mean by that is our partnership is a private-public partnership, and we're going to work with Recs and Parks of Anne Arundel County to facilitate new leagues. There's nobody going into the Clay Street area to bust youth into a sports facility where they can play soccer or they can play football or they can play lacrosse. Or
And
field
that's what
hockey.
your vision would include?
Absolutely. And we've talked to Stuart Pittman about that before he was the county executive. We're talking to him about it now.
What about leagues like the Green Hornet that is so entrenched in, as you know, the Severna Park, Arnold, Broadneck?
You know, there's challenges with them. Some of those leagues are contracting because of some of the travel sports and some of the actual select sports. So, you know, Jennifer's met with all of them. And again, if they want to utilize the fields, they're paying for the fields they're utilizing right now in Severna Park. If they need more, we're going to create a significant impact. There's a lot of hours and a lot of time and a lot of opportunities. And these fields will be lit so that they can be used into the evening hours, because obviously most kids are in school during the daytime hours. So that's an important part of the facility, is it'll be a 10-hour-a-day opportunity for usage.
You're making it sound like it's almost too good to be true, which is a concern of mine.
Well, look, we're not a developer, okay? We haven't built town centers. We haven't built warehouses, okay? We're a sports organization. And we see an opportunity that may not come again because there isn't land like this available in a central location.
Especially in the mid-Atlantic, like you
No
said.
question. And there is a need. There is real problems with the Crownsville facility. There's leaking aquifers. There's underground tanks. There's asbestos. There's lead. There's
Millions and millions of dollars.
Yes, but it has to be done. Whether it's used for a vision like ours, or whether it's used for a town center or a community, or whether it's just all trees and green, it needs help, because right now it's toxic and it needs help. You can't go out on that facility. It's closed to the public.
I get that.
So, you know, and they use it for some soccer games, and then the kids are actually, you know, migrating into the buildings and whatnot. We've got pictures of that. I mean, it's not right, and it's not good. And it's a time to fix it. We are at a really good time to fix it, because we can bring the expertise in the sports management business. The state needs to mediate the land and stop spending money to just hold it its position and start utilizing it as an economic opportunity. And the county has a great need for it.
Okay, so the taxpayers would be footing the bill for what part of this? And that's the bottom line for them, is tell me what's going to cost me.
Okay, so the taxpayers are already footing the bill for what has been $21 million worth of money just to keep it where it is in fallow.
Just a waste, basically.
We see it as about a $300 million project, of which the state would be a partner for a third, and we would basically be responsible for the other 2/3.
Now, Stadium Authority on board for this?
Yeah, I mean, they are on board for this. They've looked at the project. They're doing studies on it. You know, we've been in front of them since 2011. We've got studies back for a potential project in Bowie that was approved. It didn't work out because it was too large, honestly. So
This is scaled back then, is what you're saying?
It is scaled back. Yeah, it's when you think about it, stadiums are either high school football fields or NFL size or Major League Baseball size.
What about the
properties.
Naval Academy Stadium?
Well, that's 40,000.
Where Bayhawks have been. Would they draw enough to support an actual stadium? I've been to their games before. Lacrosse is an up and come, one of Maryland's state official sports. So
Yeah.
obviously,
It's our official team sport. Is
yes,
actually what it is.
yes, that and jousting. But in any case, would we be able to support a stadium?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I will use the MLS, Major League Soccer, as an example. Major League Soccer, 15 years ago, was a fledgling league that really didn't have a whole lot of impact. They created the right size stadiums of 15, 20,000 seats. Their brands grew because they were able to create scarcity, drive demand, and make it a great experience. And now their franchises are worth $200 million, and there's 30 of them. And they just had 8
They don't have
cities.
enough place.
They don't
to
have
play.
enough places to play.
Right.
So if we followed half that success pattern as the Major League Lacrosse League, it would be a tremendous opportunity to grow and to be in the right size place. Now, we also have intention of utilizing the stadium/amphitheater facility for high school graduations, for band competitions.
I thought that's what a live casino and resort and
Sure,
is also.
sure.
No?
Yeah, I mean, that's what they said they're going to use it for, but I don't know who's going to manage that. I mean, if they want to be outside, they can't be outside there. So it's an option, right? So I guess the school gets to pick its option. Do they want to be inside it live, or whether they want to be outside in a building that can facilitate them for all the families to be there and all the parking that's required? Because there is no place in this county right now to hold a high school graduation.
Okay, so from the environmentalist's perspective,
We are all in. We're all green. Okay? This park is going to create over 365 acres of green hiking, biking space. All right? It's going to create the opportunity to access Bacon Ridge, which right now is very hard to do. It's a 1,000-acre land preserve that sits pretty much unutilized. There's 12 parking places on Hawkins Road.
Yep.
So that means at one time, 12 cars can park and actually bike or hike that actual
we've
area.
had people had to be rescued from biking on those paths
And
over
there's
there.
nowhere to
and
get to them.
Exactly.
Right? So our plan is on what would be I'm going to call it the south side of 97, okay? There would be a actual staging area for the Say My Name Memorial as part of our reclamation of the history of Crownsville Hospital, and a place that you can park your car and stage your bike or stage a group of Boy Scouts or school or buses or just you and I going out there for a Sunday afternoon walk, because that 1,000 acres should be utilized and there's no access to it. And the Bacon Ridge folks that we've spoken to, Rick, who's been part of this, has said we would love to have more usage of it.
Oh, well, everybody would love to, but I'm concerned also, and I hate to be the wet blanket on all this, because, gosh, it sure looks so fancy and upscale and swanky even. But infrastructure, I mean, the people that live in those communities right now, some of their, the potholes don't get fixed. The infrastructure doesn't support the needs for modernizing their kitchens or bathrooms these are real problems that are there now.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine for me going forward with some of these other things that have been chronic problems for so many years, and all of a sudden we've got a magic, I don't know.
Well, I don't think our vision or our plan is the magic bullet for the county. But I would tell you, in our conversations with Stuart Pittman, he has some very aggressive ideas, and he needs economic engines to fuel
Absolutely.
that.
I
And
get the
we
money
have
is that. The money is that. Who
Yeah.
else is buying in?
Well, the governor's very positive about it. The governor's economic and development folks have been invested in this since the get-go. We've done significant amount of economic evaluations, and we're at a stage now where we're making those presentations now. We were asked to stand down during the election
Election
period,
season, yeah.
and that's understandable. They've got a lot of things to worry about other than us at that moment. But now it's time. It's our turn, and it's time for this to change, because we need to get a shovel in the ground, and we need to remediate that in order to improve it.
What kind of a timeline? It sounds like you would be very aggressive moving forward if the opportunity presents itself. And this is a lot of dotting the I's and crossing the T's.
We think 3 years.
Is that right?
Yeah, 3 years. We think we can
So
go.
I have grandchildren that could actually use this.
No question. No question. And if you think about it from the big perspective of Anne Arundel County, which Stuart has spoken to and we agree with, you put together Eisenhower Golf Course, the fairgrounds, this new Chesapeake Park, and Bacon Ridge, and you've got over 4,000 pristine acres of tremendous outdoor park and rec. And there's not many jurisdictions that could tout that or could attract as many people as you could with that opportunity.
Oh, it all sounds wonderful. I'm sure there will be some horse trails there too, since you talk about
Why
Stuart
not?
Pittman. Why not? What about the county fair, though? Those people feel like, oh my gosh, we'd lose our county fair. And for them, they look forward to that every year, and it's a tradition in their home and family.
We have nothing against the county fair or the people that run the county fair.
I feel like I'm negative Nancy
we
here.
think it. We think it. No, you're just asking honest questions, and we have honest answers, so it's not a problem.
Okay.
We think that they have a right to their property and they have a right to their business. I mean, we're not trying to interrupt their business. We thought we might be able to help them and improve their facility. They wanted no part of that. They don't want anybody in their backyard. Fine. There's enough opportunity in the hospital site. We don't need to disrupt them. We don't need to be in their way. We thought they'd be great partners. Didn't work out. It's okay. We move on. They have a right to their business. We have a right to ours.
Okay. What questions have I not asked
Well,
that you've heard that you'd like to respond to?
you know, I think the economic impact needs to be measured and measured quickly. So, in full capacity, our economic estimates are in the $40+ million to the county and state on an annual basis. So measure that, if you will. Right now, the county and the state are spending money basically to protect a fallowed, unused property. Okay, in the neighborhood of $1 million to $1.5 million a year. We turn that around and we create $40 million plus worth of economic impact for all the restaurants, the hotels, downtown Annapolis.
I just think traffic. Every time you say this, I think traffic, traffic, traffic. I'm sorry, but that's where I go.
Well, you know, the majority of our actual activities are going to happen in evening hours as well as on weekends. So, yeah, we're already playing at Navy Marine Corps Stadium, and we handle the traffic there. We bring in the police, and we manage that traffic, okay? 10,000 people on a road that does 175 to 200,000 cars a day. We're talking about another 4,000 cars.
But timing is everything, sir.
It is. It is. And we need to be aware of that. So we have worked with the Renfest, those folks, and how they might be able to access our property and utilize the actual interchange so that they're not impacting Crownsville Road and General's Highway. That's music to everyone's ears in that community.
Well, of course it is.
And Jules, who runs the Renfest, is like, why wouldn't I be interested in working with you? So there's that opportunity.
Rather than that, then move it to a whole nother location and out of the county.
Yeah, and there you go again. There's another business running away because they're not planning and or working with local government in a productive and a constructive way, right?
Mark Burdett, do you have an answer for everything?
No, but I've thought about this a lot and I believe in it wholly. And Jennifer and our team have worked really hard, and we just need to get the message out there so that folks like you, who I think have had a chance to spend a minute with us and spend a minute with our vision and see that there's a real opportunity here, can actually think about it maybe from a different perspective.
It's hard. It's very hard to wrap my head around this. And I think the people that you need to convince more than me, sitting in a little old studio in Annapolis, are the people that live around there and are going to be the frontline impact people. Mm-hmm. And how do you get past that? I mean, we don't even have public transportation to get from the community college sometimes to places where they need to get to on the different peninsulas. I mean, is there an investment with public transit that you could foresee? Because these are the types of things that are absent,
so
totally absent.
The answer is absolutely. You know, we've talked to the mayor and we've talked to the county executive. They're both interested in how we can work together to create mass transit buses, basically, that'll run on an ongoing basis. And
are they going to be battery operated?
I have no idea, but I certainly would like them to be, because I'm all about that.
Well, it sounds like you're kind of green in your...
I am green, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I believe in it, and I think that at the end of the day, if you toured...
I'm just nervous about this.
Tour Crownsville Hospital. Go out there. We've been out there with Janice Hayes Williams. We've been out there with Susan, the head of the food bank, and it is disgusting.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's terrible. Okay,
It's a terrible
and
gem.
the neighbors
It could be a diamond.
The neighbors need to know that if you live within the aquifer, the water and the land is being basically poisoned, and it's just from lack of attention and detail. They have an open sewage plant out there. That means they pump it into pools and they spray it on the fields. That's how they did it in 1930, and they're still doing it out there today. Not good.
No, it's not good. I agree. There's a lot of things that you say that sound wonderful, but it all comes back to, are you going to get the buy-in from the community and all the partners that would have to buy in, government included? And government does not do things quickly. If they wanted to broaden those lanes, which sounds to a lot of people like a great idea, if you build it, they will come, and there will still be backups. And every time you have an emergency, you're still going to have that quality of life going down the tubes for people sitting.
Well, I don't profess to have the answer to all traffic.
I know.
I do have
an
answer to our traffic. So,
yeah.
And Jennifer, is it not true that State Highway has plans for the expansion?
It's been on their CTP for many years.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe we're a force that pushes this up the priority chain.
Because you're the bank. You're the bank to go to.
We're not a bank, but I think we're a visionary that has an economic solution, and that solution is going to benefit all parties, state, county, and participants.
The organizations that are in support are definitely those that support our businesses in the county and the state of Maryland. Tourism, the Chambers of Commerce, Visit Annapolis. All those organizations positively support what this will mean to drive that economic engine that Mark keeps speaking about to the county and state coffers.
One of the best businesses in this county is Anne Arundel Medical Center. And Anne Arundel Medical Center sees this as an opportunity to be involved in, obviously, sports rehabilitation and things of that nature, but they also see it as a potential location, to expand their campuses so that, they've got a number of different needs. It's a bigger business. You talk about the opioid crisis, and Halfway and all that they run. It's not Halfway. What is the name? Pathway, excuse me. That they see this as another place that they might be able to expand their business. So, and do it in an environment that makes sense, that's right for them. So we're working with them right now because they're an existing partner of ours, and we have a long relationship with them, and they're great people, and they do an amazing job. So why wouldn't we want to have them with us? And we think that's really, worthwhile. Look, we could just take our team and go to Baltimore. And Baltimore would be happy to give us the land.
Gosh.
And probably the Maryland Stadium Authority would build us a stadium. Great. We can't look a gift horse in the mouth, but the reality is we're from Anne Arundel County. This is our home. This is where we want to stay, and we truly believe we have the right answer for the right problem at the right time.
Timing is everything.
It is. It is.
Tell me this, sir, if you have an idea, since this is out, it's going to be messaging. I'm sure there's going to be a campaign of promotions. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a lot of information, for communities to buy in, to make decisions, public hearings, etc. What kind of timeline? I mean, how big is the push right now since the election is over? But guess what? There's another one coming.
Oh, sure. They're always coming.
Yes.
So let's say that we're at about 45% of where we anticipate being in the next 90 days. So we're gonna ramp it up. We're gonna talk to everybody. That's why I came here. I wanted to be with you in person. It's just important that you hear us and see us and understand a little bit more about us, and that we are transparent. We don't have this boogeyman agenda in the corner.
Are you sure? I'm gonna look back there and see.
Where we're going to build apartment buildings or something to that nature. We've never done it in the past. We have no intention of doing it now. It's not what we are.
So for those who have beds now and are receiving treatment through like Chrysalis or the Pascal Center, those facilities, what's the answer there?
Economic investment. That's the answer. They need help. They need money.
I'm not saying they don't need help, but before they can get help, they need treatment. And more beds is one of the ultimate sacrifices that some community will have to make in order for us to handle this. The numbers are huge.
Yeah, I can't answer that. I mean, we're there to support those businesses that are there. We just volunteered at the food bank last Friday, and
I'm not saying you're not good
man.
people and
No,
great people
I
and
really don't have that
altruistic in
answer for you, you know,
every
I mean-
way, but this is for some people that's a location where they think the investment should be in
I
trying to
I
get
wouldn't
more
disagree
mental
with you.
health.
I wouldn't disagree with you. Based on the legacy and the history that's there, if they can turn that into a positive and help people, we would certainly be doing everything we could to help them. It's our responsibility. It isn't going to get fixed by people pointing the finger. Somebody's got to do something big to make it matter.
I agree. We need something big. Mark Burdett. Not Burnett. Mark Burdett. Chesapeake Sports and Entertainment. And
Jennifer?
Jennifer. Let me say your last name. Hold on a second. I got to look on my sheet again. Fitzmaurice. Jennifer Fitzmaurice. She is the Director of Community Affairs of Chesapeake Sports and Entertainment Group. And you all are set up. You have an office, you have a suite, you have a phone number, you have a website.
Oh, yeah.
For people that want to get more information, should they check out the website, go to your Facebook page? A lot of options, it sounds like.
Yeah, both. Jennifer, tell them where to go.
ChesapeakePark.com.
ChesapeakePark.com.
Yep.
And on Facebook, they have a presence, social media presence. Facebook.com. It's Chesapeake Parking.
No, Park MD.
Park MD.
Yeah.
Oh, golly. I need to check my glasses. Park MD. What else do you want our audience to know? Because this is a hot button issue and it's just going to be heating up more.
I just remind them that we're local and we're their neighbors already, and that we have been here in this community and we have been impacting this community positively for a long time, and we intend to stay and do it on an ongoing basis. So if you want the actual numbers, let me quote you the numbers because I actually have them here for you. So right now, to put my glasses on like you, I've got to make sure I'm reading the numbers right. Right now, in structural total, there's 730,000 square feet of actual square footage development, buildings, okay? There's 843,000 square feet of roads and parking areas. So our project basically has 501 square feet of development. That's stadium, indoor facility, services buildings, concourse areas, and things of that nature. So we're going to reduce the actual development by what looks to be 31%. Our numbers are 69% of what's already out there. So if you ask us, are we a developer? Well, we're an improver, but we're going to reduce the amount of concentrated development that's actually on the facility. So that's important to know because it's already there. It's already in place. It just needs to be taken down and replaced.
If there are too many bridges to jump over, too many hoops to jump through, what would be the thing that you would say, we're stepping back, we're going somewhere else? Is there one thing?
The interchange. The interchange on the 97 is an absolute deal breaker. Because otherwise we have to use Crownsville Road and Generals Highway. And we understand that that's not right and it's not going to fly.
So you talked to Pete Ron and he says...
He says he's going to drop one in there from the sky tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, he is amazing.
No. It's critical. And it's important because you did bring up traffic 10 times. And the reality of it is that is what affects the quality of a lot of people's lives. And we have to be a good partner and a good custodian of managing traffic to the best of our ability.
So Mark Burdett, also a good steward of the land.
Trying to be.
Trying to be. Wow. It's a lot to take in, sir.
It's a big opportunity, too. Remember, opportunities.
I don't want to color it one way or the other. I'm just trying to get to the real deal so that people know this would be a disruption for somebody at some point, and we don't want to sugarcoat it, but it could mean also some opportunities for young people to engage in positive experiences.
No question. No question. Employment and economic impact. Remind yourself of those things. They're very valuable.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm thinking about it.
Great. It's been a pleasure being here with you.
Thank you so much for coming in for Talk With. You're listening to your hometown station, 1430 WNAV, and in the city on 99.9 FM.